Are you ready to check for the 5 blind spots relating to strategy and execution? That is the 5 so-called hard blind spots. 1. The first mile blind spot. 2. A blind spot called project myopia. 3. Stakeholder engagement as a blind spot. 4. Portfolio blindness. And 5. Niggling doubt. Let's get started and see if any of these apply to you, your strategy, or team. The first mile is the first hard blind spot. There is a natural desire to get important initiatives up and running fast, but go too fast, and you will likely pay for it later on. Strategic initiatives are one of the riskiest things that any organization can do. This is evident from the levels of frustration and even failure involved. The most effective way to manage risk is to set a project up for success and to prevent false starts. It all starts with the first mile. The first mile is about balancing enthusiasm with caution, also balancing the need for speed and agility with the requirements of project rigor. How do you know if you could have a first mile blind spot? Here are some of the ways. If there isn't effective dialogue and engagement, if a gung-ho attitude is preventing people from raising doubts or asking questions, if you are not embracing skeptics and cynics, if you have been focused on the how of the project with little discussion of the why. Done right, the first mile connects the project plan to the business strategy and project goals to business needs and priorities. Project myopia is the second strategic or so-called hard blind spot. Caught up in the daily busyness of running a project, it is easy to lose touch with changing business needs and priorities. This project myopia is actually the #1 reason why projects struggle or fail. But can you adopt a business-first perspective, putting the needs of the business ahead of narrow project goals and objectives? Can you break down silos to ensure that your project is truly cross-functional? Can you have the strategic conversations that keep the project connected to business strategy? Stakeholder engagement is the third hard blind spot, highlighted by our data. For many leaders, managing stakeholders means keeping them at arm's length. That heightens project risk. But engaging stakeholders also has risks. For example, will their input be balanced, considered, and constructive? Even the most confident and experienced leaders can be nervous about engaging with sponsors and other internal stakeholders. The relationship can seem like that of a child going to a parent seeking approval or asking for help. But to be effective, it should be a meeting of peers. By definition, stakeholders have a stake in the game. They should not be allowed to sit on the sidelines, like spectators. But tackling the stakeholder blind spot requires a new level of courage, as well as confidence, curiosity, and openness. The strategic portfolio is blind spot number 4, also called portfolio blindness. In ambitious organizations, there will always be more projects than available resources. Thus, leaders often find themselves playing whack-a-mole with priorities and initiatives. This is a sure sign of portfolio blindness. That is the failure to look beyond individual projects and standalone project decisions. The failure to see them as part of a broader strategic portfolio, reflective of organizational priorities and strategy. The reality is that not all projects can proceed, and certainly not at the same time. Rather than siloed or standalone decisions, a portfolio mindset is required. But are your key priorities, projects, and initiatives being timed and sequenced for maximum success? Moreover, is greater focus and alignment required across the organization? Niggling doubt is the 5th strategy or hard blind spot. Too many organizations only do good news, but do your strategy and project updates sound like PR statements? While ambition is key to driving progress, doubt also plays an important role. It focuses people on the requirements of successful execution. So the question is not, are there doubts, but rather, can doubts be talked about openly? To be truly confident in their strategies, leaders must engage with doubt, talking openly about risk and uncertainty. Well done, you are now familiar with the 5 so-called hard blind spots relating to strategy and execution. Here is a quick recap. 1. The first mile. 2. Project myopia. 3. Stakeholders. 4. Portfolio blindness. 5. Niggling doubt.
Do any of these blind spots apply to you, your organization, strategy, or team?
Take care if you are tempted to answer no, because the greatest blind spot of all is the failure to recognize blind spots. Are you concerned about these or any other blind spots that could impact on the success of your strategy? If yes, why not talk to us? Are you ready to check for the 5 blind spots relating